The game where winds meet boasts an expansive and epic worldview, with its Qinghe storyline truly deserving of legendary status. However, the main plot in Kaifeng veers off course right from the start, and the core issue lies in the utterly unrealistic portrayal of Tang coins. In the following, I'll explain why by combining historical facts and monetary logic. First, let's recap the Kaifeng main storyline. When I was doing the lunar goddess quests in Qinghe, at least that's how it went for me, a bird flew over and delivered a letter. But the letter was actually addressed to Water Lady, better known as Aunt Han. Perhaps after Aunt Han went missing, the bird couldn't find her and ended up bringing it to me instead. The letter invited Water Lady to Kaifeng to attend the Heroes' Assembly. So, the young master, that's us, traveled to Kaifeng. First, Widow Ju stole my purse at Kaifeng. Then I had a meal with Yingying and got tricked by her, forced to pawn my parting tears just to pay the bill. Shortly after, I met little Fu buying grain, who handed me a handful of Tang coins, iron coins that were banned by the government. These Tang coins, or iron coins, are set against the backdrop of China's 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period, roughly 907 to 960 AD. During this era, northern China saw the rise and fall of 5 successive dynasties, later Liang, later Tang, later Jin, later Han, and later Zhou. Southern China, meanwhile, split into 10 separate kingdoms. Unlike today, where southern and northern China have roughly equal populations, the North back then accounted for 90% of the country's people. Whoever unified the North had an extremely high chance of unifying the entire nation. In the game, Southern Tang is the most powerful kingdom in the south. But under the pressure of Chai Rong, emperor of later Zhou, and Big Zhao's former superior, Southern Tang was forced to pay tribute to the northern court. The game's core plot logic goes like this. To destabilize the Song dynasty's economy, the ruler of Southern Tang exploited the coin shortage in Kaifeng, the Song capital, by flooding the city with iron coins, attempting to replace copper coins and create chaos. What's more, this move gains the support of many common people in the game, who believe, whether it's Tang coins or copper coins, if it works, it works. But in reality, iron was rarely used as a primary currency in ancient China. On the contrary, in true history, Southern Tang was forced to adopt iron coins within its own borders due to a shortage of copper coins caused by war, only to wreck its own economy completely. The people rejected iron coins outright, and there was no need for government bans to make this happen. The exchange rate between copper and iron in ancient China was roughly 1:10. A single copper coin was already of very low value. If converted to iron coins, buying a meal that would cost 20 copper coins would require 200 iron coins, extremely inconvenient to carry and use. What if the government had forced their use, decreeing that 1 iron coin equals 1 copper coin? That still wouldn't have worked. Ancient currencies were not fiat currencies. The people valued them for the intrinsic worth of their materials. For example, the value of a copper coin was essentially equal to the value of the copper it contained, with fluctuations rarely exceeding 30%. If a copper coin was lightweight or adulterated with iron or lead, people would quickly notice and either devalue it in circulation or reject it entirely. Throughout history, whenever a dynasty neared its end or faced turmoil, rulers often resorted to debasing coinage by reducing copper content, but they could never fool the people. This is why the iron Tang coins in the game would never have gained popular support. The government wouldn't even need to ban them. The ancients lived in ancient times, but they were far from stupid. This logic of bad money being rejected wasn't unique to ancient China, it applied to Europe too. In the early Roman Empire, soldiers were paid primarily in silver coins called denarius, with copper coins used only as small change for daily purchases like bread and wine. This aligns with the game's setting where copper coins are the main currency. But by the late Roman Empire, the silver content of denarius was drastically reduced, falling to less than 1 gram per coin in the end. Soldiers mocked these late-era coins as copper coins with a silver coating. Even though they demanded higher salaries, the actual amount of pure silver they received was far less than in the early empire. Clearly, governments throughout the ancient world resorted to the exact same bad money trick. Some might wonder, why didn't ancient China use more convenient silver and gold coins like ancient Rome did? That's an excellent question. China has always been a country short of gold and silver, or more accurately, short of most major industrial metals. Unlike Europe, the Americas, and Australia, which formed from large, intact tectonic plates, China's geological structure is a mosaic of smaller plates that merged relatively late. The stable, long-standing geological environments of Europe, America, and Australia fostered the formation of large-scale, high-grade ore deposits like iron and copper. In China, however, the collision and merging of small plates shattered and diluted ancient ore veins, making it difficult to form high-purity, rich deposits. For example, in China, an iron ore with a 10% iron content is considered viable. In Australia, the cutoff is 50% or higher. Yet this fragmented geological structure had a silver lining. Constant tectonic friction caused various elements to concentrate, forming China's unique rare earth deposits. These deposits would later become a powerful bargaining chip for China during trade disputes, such as those with the Trump administration. Of course, gold and silver weren't completely unused in ancient China, but they were mostly reserved for emperors and nobles, rarely circulating among the common people. It wasn't until the age of exploration, when massive amounts of silver from the Americas flowed into China, that silver began to be widely used in civilian transactions. Bringing it back to the game, Southern Tang flooding its enemy's country with iron coins is analogous to a modern scenario where, during a dollar shortage in the United States, Zimbabwe, knowing its own currency is worthless, floods America with Zimbabwean dollars, and those dollars somehow gain immense popularity in the US. Doesn't that sound absolutely absurd? Maybe I'm being too nitpicky. After all, it's just a game. Undeniably, the overall storytelling of Where Winds Meet is still top tier. I'll continue to dive deep into the game's plot details in future content. To all players, enjoy the game,